Welcome back, guys. The time right now is 20 minutes after 8. Los minuti o te neli tula valu o the chacho temi. Lungo the chacho wala leo. Hopefully everybody's having a great start to their Tuesday, also known as No Cash Tuesday here at Eyespy. La sulumativa manene tangolima. Malo level and sai malo lava le fa malosi. I'd like to say a big good morning to our girl Lizahi, the Agri-communications professional, our fine man's creative, and our photographer, filmmaker, Denisa Maňásková. Did I say it right? Good morning, ladies. Welcome to Eyespy.
Hi, Sifa. Thank you for having us. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks, Sifa. Yeah, so, we're here to really promote our series, the SAFPROM Stories of Impact, and then talk a little bit about what it's, what the agriculture communication space is like in Samoa, and why you should consider out there, anyone who's listening, why you should consider a career in that space. So, yeah.
First on the list, can you tell us more about your work in the field, media communications and content development, specializing in agriculture? Because a lot of people don't know. You're the one who sets up our questions and our talkbacks for the SAFPROM for the past couple of months now, huh?
Yeah.
Lava Liz.
Well, thanks, Sifa. Thank you for making it such a great success. So, basically, communications, Agri-communications specializes in agriculture space. When I first arrived here in Samoa in 2017, I worked in the media as a journalist. But one of the things that I was drawn to was the agriculture space. When I would go out and interview farmers and fishers, I was really drawn to that because coming from the city in New Zealand, I really lost touch with that aspect of Samoan culture.
Okay.
So that was being in the media here, you get to cover so many different subjects, but that for me was something that I was drawn to, agriculture and also tourism. So, but little did I know, that's actually a career. So a couple of years ago, I was very lucky to take a masterclass in Agri-comms and during the Pacific Week of Agriculture in 2019.
Yeah.
So a lot of Pacific journalists came to Samoa, and I was the only Samoan representative at the time, and I found that in these Pacific countries, they have whole networks and journalists just dedicated to agriculture because that's how big it is in their country, and they're very well developed. So I think there's a correlation between, that having a strong media, agri-media communications, presence within agriculture. They go hand in hand. So, so that's how I got started into that space. So I moved into communications. So communications is more about advocating. So that's what I'm doing. And the last 2 years, I've been really privileged to work with SAFPROM. And I had an amazing opportunity to have access to over 1,000 farmers and fishers.
Yeah.
There's really not enough time to tell their stories. So basically, I'm a storyteller, but packaged up into a fancy word called agri-communications. So that's how I got started into the space.
I originally came from the Czech Republic, but I've been living in Samoa for the last 3 years now. But I actually came to Samoa to do volunteering, so I wanted to experience the country in a different way, living with the locals. So before I actually came to Samoa, I was living in New Zealand, and we were looking, with my partner, we were looking for some kind of woofing, like working on organic farms. So we arrived to Samoa. I was supposed to stay only 4 weeks, 2 weeks in Upolu, working on a cocoa farm, and another 2 weeks in Savaii on the veggie farm. But it was right at the beginning of pandemic, so we accidentally got stuck. So we weren't planning to live here, but that's what happened. And the best things in your life happen. The best things in your life are the ones that you don't plan.
Unexpected.
Exactly. So it was an amazing experience. So we've been living on a farm for like 4 months, living off the land, working on the plantation. Like me and my partner, we would one day we would collect 1,200 popo and o'o together. So it was really amazing. And then when I met Liz, she suggested to us would you like to maybe go to Savai'i? I have an auntie there. Maybe you can live with her. And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we live in Savai'i for another 2 months, like really just living. We were just living in the community. If anyone's listening from Awala, I'm saying hi to everyone.
Shout out to Awala, yeah.
So that was really amazing. So, I experienced like living with the farmers basically from the very beginning. So for me, working on these short documentaries was kind of like amazing experience because it was also something I knew already, something I experienced myself. So yeah, that's a little bit of my story.
So it says earlier I was talking about there's 6 documentaries that's going to be released this week.
No, sorry. So we actually began these documentaries at the end of last year.
Okay.
So throughout the year we've been releasing them separately. So it started off with Ife Ele Ele Plantation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did one on Flavors of Change, just highlighting how this couple in Pasito'uta, they have an organic farm orchard, and they're able to produce products out of the fruits that they make. So they make icy pops.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no like sugar or anything. So we really wanted to highlight that.
Natural flavors.
Exactly.
That's what we need more of.
They're even using new instead of water. It's just amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the work that we've done. We just discover all these amazing people. They're literally superstars in my eyes.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, Sefa. So when I first came on board with SAFPROM, I created the strategy for how we were going to, promote not only the project but the impact of the project on farmers and the community. But I had one real goal, and that was to make the farmers and fishers the rock stars of Samoa.
Yeah.
And I think that we kind of like did that, but we had to really come from different angles on how to tell their stories. So we released the first one in January, and then throughout the year we released 5 others, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And then now coming up this Friday. I just made that up now, Friday. We will be releasing the last one. So we're saving we're not going to tell you what it's about, but I can tell you that we're leaving we're ending the note, we're ending the year on a sweet note. So keep a lookout for that on our SAFPROM Facebook page. We'll be releasing it on the SAFPROM page, and I'm sure our team here at Eyespy will post the link. We'll also be posting it on the MEF YouTube. So if you're on your device right now, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries YouTube channel, which kind of started last year, and pretty much all of the episodes of, the short documentaries are on there, except for the last one. So we'll drop that on Friday. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the question. So did that answer your question, Sefa?
Oh yeah, thanks. You guys have been out and about fishing. You had I saw that celebration for the Tō Samoa, and you guys are over there in the small island Manono.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool.
That was really awesome, actually. So, we weren't planning to do that, but we got approached by the family, and that's the family from the SAFPROM stories.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. It was just insane experience. It was so lovely. And it was amazing. So that was great. And then when we were actually filming with that family, we went fishing on the boat, of course, right? Because the story is about the life of a fisher family.
Yeah.
And I was really pushing my limits because we went fishing behind the reef. It was like between Manono and Apolima Island.
Yeah.
And we went there for like 7 hours. And
you were sick.
And I was so seasick.
Yeah.
And I knew that sometimes it can happen, but I'm like, no, I can do it. But when we got there and we were like, they were fishing, and I was just lying. I'm like, oh my God. And in my head, I had this song like, pushing to the limit, do. And I'm like, girl, you can do it, you can do it. So I was just lying, like thinking, I'm like, yeah, you're strong enough, you can do this. And there's nothing else you can do, right? You just have to wait.
Yeah.
And then every time they caught a fish, I just like sit for like a few seconds, just record it, and then lie it again. Yeah.
But you got some good footage from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, I did. Right.
But of course, that was just a part of the series documentaries that you shot. I was also part of the other documentary that we shot up at Siapata. That was a nice experience.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, we're gonna release that one in December, but that's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole part of it is like, it's really educating and letting people know about the fishers and the farmers. As Liz, you were talking about, yeah, these are the people behind the scene now. These are the real rock stars, the stories, the untold stories. You know, you just go to the stores and you see the fruits they're selling there and the crops and whatever, but you don't see behind it, like, there's a lot of hard work and dedication that goes into that.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely, Sepa. So part of, you know, anyone's job in the agri-communications space is to act like a liaison for those people in the industry, like farmers and fishers. Because if you think about it, they're out in the rural communities, they're in remote areas, they work in isolation. And I remember listening back on one of your episodes with Fuimaono Sarona Bonifacio.
Yeah.
And she talked about how her mother felt, you know, very isolated and lonely, you know, as a farmer. So coming together with other farmers, that was their time to network and stuff like that. So my job is to kind of like bridge that, bring their stories to the front so they're not getting lost, because to be honest, they're doing a hard job of not only feeding their families, their community, but also ensuring that we have food.
Yeah.
For, you know, we have food security. So they play a really huge part in that. So I was very lucky to be working with Denisa, because Denisa is like, you know, she lived in that space, but she also has that benefit of having an outsider gaze on on things. So she can really appreciate it, because what I found with a lot of farmers and fishers, they're doing amazing things, but they don't know they're doing amazing things because it's just a part of their everyday life.
Yeah.
And our job is to really bring that out and to showcase that. And also, let's remember, agriculture is culture.
Yeah.
So that's our culture. And we're actually trying to, you know, preserve that by continuously helping them to develop and innovate and all of that. So unfortunately, you know, one of the things that I do regret is that we didn't really, we did feature some, you know, fishers in our storytelling, but we only got one. And I know now why, because it's very tough to film with, because they're out on the boat and out
on the water, with the equipment and like anything can happen.
Anything can happen. It's so dangerous. And we're constantly learning so many things when we go out and we to the site visits and spend time with farmers and fishers. And that was one thing that I found when we got there. I had a preconceived idea of what we were going to do, what the story was going to be focusing on the beneficiary who applied for the grant, was a lady. However, when we got there, we realized, it's not just about the lady, it's about the whole family, because you cannot run this fishing operation on your own.
Yeah.
Everything is important, from the women making the food, preparing and staying up until the fishers come back.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually a job.
That's right.
And it's an important job, and it's a scary job too. So it was funny, because Denise and Adam, when we were filming in Manono and we stayed out there, they wanted to go offshore fishing, because sometimes this family goes offshore fishing.
Oh, yeah.
And going offshore is just a whole... And I was, you know, I'm a deep inside, I'm a journalist. So I'm like, I want to get that story too. You know, so I was having a hurry. But at the end of the day, I was thinking about our safety.
Yeah.
Because we were going to have to go with them. And also, we don't want to inconvenience the fishers. Yeah. We don't want them to take us out there, spend money on their gas, just to show us around, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we have to go with them fishing.
Yeah.
And that can be hours or even overnight. But I am so glad we didn't go offshore fishing, because...
Is that through the bao or the normal engine boat?
Engine boat.
Yeah, engine boat.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have to go beyond the reef, you know, into the vast ocean where there's no land. And it was so funny, because I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And then I was like, look behind me, and there's Denisa and Adam, and they're like on the ground, like...
They're dying.
They're dying. So I was like, oh my gosh, grab my phone, took a picture.
Let's go back now.
Yeah.
But it was like, I have to
6 hours
say,
later.
the sunset was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was nice, but it was, tough.
You caught that in the documentary, actually.
I did.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Was that one of those 1 seconds where you just like stood up took the video and then went back down.
Exactly, that's
Like literally, she like killed over. It was not funny, but
they told
we
me
could laugh about it.
you have
now.
to stare at the horizon. So that's what I did. I was just lying and looking at the horizon.
Yeah,
That's a good experience. There's a lot of stories to take back home.
Yeah, that's
if you guys
right.
are going.
Yeah.
Well, when are you guys going back?
Well, we haven't booked our tickets, but we are planning to go back probably middle of February. We're first going to go to New Zealand and see our families in Europe. But people are like saying like, you can't leave Samoa, and we're not gonna go for good. Like we're gonna come back. We just don't know when. But yeah, Samoa became our second home. It's just crazy to think that we're gonna leave soon. Yeah.
Well, what is something that if you do go back home, what's something that you picked up from our small island nation and from the team at SAFPROM that you guys worked on? Denisa's probably like, man, those guys suck.
I'm gonna take with me the whole Samoa in my heart, but
Oh,
no.
that's nice.
I think the passion about growing your own food.
Yeah.
I mean, in Samoa, that's what I love about Samoa. You can grow your own food all year long. You know, you don't even have to go to the shop, right? You can just grow your own. So that's one thing I would like to do back home. Even though we have 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
But grow your own food and be independent. But like working on those short documentaries, it was just so inspiring. And I think it's so important to show these stories because it can also inspire the others.
That's
like
right.
the story we just released recently about Grace Malama, the veggie farmer from Fa'ali.
Walavai Faleali.
Falealili from Potsasi. It was just amazing story. She just started to be a farmer in January, right? And then she expanded so fast, and then she actually couldn't keep up, right? And then she was even saying like at the beginning she was kind of like lazy, she didn't want to do the work, but at the end or like during the work when she started to see the reward, it was just amazing, and she wants to keep working and actually inspiring others as well to do the same because, almost everyone has their own land and they can just do whatever they want and they know they can do it.
I think at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Spreading the word out there and just you can be sustainable with your own crops that you grow for your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. What I love about farmers and fishers, I think it is the most noble profession in Samoa.
Yeah.
And as someone who values freedom so much, that epitomizes freedom and independence. Being a farmer, having food sovereignty, like growing your own food, selling your own food. Literally, they all survive. Like during the pandemic,
Yeah, that's
who
right.
were the ones that were doing okay?
The farmers.
Exactly. While we were freaking out,
Getting potatoes and onions. And then,
exactly, or waiting for our turn at 1 p.m. to go to the supermarket, but they could just go to their backyards. And I just wanted to point out one of the really challenging but rewarding experiences for me and Denisa. So obviously I was born in Samoa, but I was raised in New Zealand, so my Samoan isn't that good. It's improved, so two girls that not that great in Samoan going out into the rural areas and trying to interview. My Samoan did get better during this time, so
Mine
that
too.
was really good.
That's good.
And Denisa was so good too when we were going back doing the post production and editing. Sometimes you didn't even have to explain things to Denisa. She just knew what some words meant. So kudos to you for growing.
Just finding the keywords and then...
Right.
Yeah.
My Samoan is pretty basic, but if I listen to someone else's conversation, I can pick up a few words and then the conversation actually makes sense to me. But when we were working on those documentaries, we had the interview. So we interviewed like 5 people for one story, and then each of them were talking for 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
And then we were sitting together trying to, trim it and cut it down. And then for me, because most of the interviews were in Samoan, but I don't speak fully Samoan, obviously. And so for me, it was even challenging to put the English subtitles onto the Samoan interview. So, but thankfully, I had a few friends that helped me. Thank you very much. And then it was actually funny because, we had like, we were able to maybe cut it down to like 20 minutes, but then we had to cut it down again to like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And to really make sure that the message is going to be there.
Yeah.
So that was very challenging, working on that with Liz, and it was really funny. I was actually kind of like, when Samoans, they love to talk, right? And then when they're talking about something, they actually start to talk about something, but then like
They
5
go
minutes
off topic.
later, they get to the point. But you can't use the last part. You have to
Yeah.
actually use the
Yes.
whole
The whole
thing. So
thing,
that
yeah.
was very challenging, but I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I learned a lot. Like even like when we were like listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, I know. And then I could pick up a few words.
Oh, yeah, since you understand, can you say a sentence then in Samoan?
Oh no, I'm not sure.
Maybe your pronunciation.
I can actually put together a sentence. Like I said, I can just pick a few words.
Pick up a few words.
Yeah.
4 more minutes on top of the hour. And right now, we're just going to finish off our talk back. I'm just going to give it back to the ladies this morning. Any final words for today? Giving it back to Denisa since it's her birthday. Oh man, if you told us it's your birthday, we could have bought something.
Right.
I'm gonna take the cinnamon roll from the bar.
Get the cinnamon rolls and the donuts Liz bought this morning.
Oh, well, so if I have some words, right? I mean, I really hope that I'm going to have more opportunity to work with the agriculture, filmmakers. There are so, like Liz mentioned earlier, there are so many stories that haven't been told. And even for me as a creative person, as a photographer and filmmaker, I just see so many stories out there. And then when I think, I'm like, oh, if I'm going to leave in 2 months, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to cover that all.
Yeah.
But not only agriculture, but everywhere I go, I see all these stories, and like, I feel like they maybe I should just
Stay.
Maybe you should
Stay.
stay.
Maybe
Maybe you should stay.
I agree.
yeah, it's very inspiring to see other people doing the hard work, because when you go to the market, you don't really, or even like the fish market, you don't see the hard work behind it. But then when you actually go there, stay with the families, because that's what we
Yeah.
did. That's the best way to do, like even the filmmaking, if you want to really get the story out, you have to experience it yourself. So you have to be there and staying with the family. And this is what I really love about my job, getting to know their stories, actually living with them for a few days. That's really amazing. Yeah.
Yes, and we're really going to miss Denisa because, we just really need more storytellers like that in Samoa. And I know that we do, to be able to tell these stories, because these are Samoa stories and they're unique. And we're documenting this for the future generations. But in closing, I would say, Sefa, first of all, I just want to thank you and the team for delivering the goods on the Food for Thought program. That has really given us an opportunity to showcase various farmers. Next time, hopefully, we'll have fishers next week, fingers crossed, to showcase people from the sector, and not just highlighting their challenges and successes, but also we want to highlight opportunity, potential, and to really spark that thought in people's minds that yes, they can do it in some way as well. And so we just want to really encourage people to think about going into a career in agri-comms. Also, please do check out our videos on the MAF YouTube channel, as well as our SAFPROM Facebook page, where we will be publishing on there. Also, thank you to Coconut TV for publishing all of our short documentaries, and taking it out to a wider audience and to the overseas Samoans, so that they can connect back to Samoa as well. Lastly, I just want to thank the team at SAFPROM. I honestly won the lottery when it came to working with the most amazing team I've ever worked with. For a small team, they have accomplished so much. I get emails at 12 o'clock, midnight, 2 a.m. They're still working in the office, trying to move this project. And it's such a huge project. It's one of the biggest projects in Samoa at $23 million US dollars. Yes, it is a pretty big project. So they're doing their best. And so shout out to the SAFPROM team, to Dr. Ramona, and all the guys out there. Yeah, and thank you for having us on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. That's right, guys. That was none other than Liz Ahi, Agri-communications professional, and to our creative photographer, filmmaker, Denisa, was us this morning. Yes, just as Liz was talking about, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Or make sure you follow us on our Facebook page, SAFPROM. And of course, you can update yourself with our new documentaries out right now.